Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Damero. I am the Chief Operating Officer of TIRF, the International Research Foundation for English Language Education. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. I think we're going to have people continuing to join throughout the call. We had more than 100 people registered joining from around the world. So if you'd like, type in the chat screen where you're joining from and what your role is in our field. We'd be happy to build community with you. I'm going to run through an introduction of TIRF and highlight a few of our programs, and then hand the mic over to Dr. Honor Burns, who is our program lead for the TIRF AI Show and Tell series that we're focused on here today. So about TIRF, we are an independent nonprofit organization that connects research, policy, and practice to improve English language education around the world. Through research grants, professional learning, partnerships, and initiatives like today's AI Show and Tell series, TIRF works to support educators and researchers while addressing emerging issues shaping our field. So how do we actually meet our mission? A number of things. This AI Show and Tell series helps to make AI practical for teachers. The project introduces specific AI tools and shows how they can be used in real teaching contexts. Tools have been accompanied by examples, demonstrations, and classroom applications so teachers can move from awareness to action. So the videos have been being released over the last couple of weeks. Of course, this particular part two of AI Show and Tell carries on the momentum that we had established earlier this year. We had a webinar on the same topic, but highlighting different tools. And today we're here to share different tools with you. We also have a number of free resources available on our website. Our reference lists are one of our most popular sources that we make available on our website. These are a collection of more than 260 lists on different topics in our field, whether those are AI or language assessments. There's a number of different reference lists that you can download and use for conducting research, conducting your literature review on a project that you might be working on, whether you're a graduate student, a researcher, or teacher. It doesn't, they're really fit for a number of different types of stakeholders that TIRF serves. We also have publications activities. I was just mentioning the TIRF Routledge free book before I was letting people into this call. That book is freely available on the website. There are actually two of them. The most recent publication that's out there is Teaching English to Young Multilingual Learners. So I encourage you to visit our publications section of our website to learn more about what we do there. We also have links to journals in our field, which can be a great place to try to find a suitable journal for publishing your research. Check those out. There's more than 100 journals listed. We also have a growing collection of resources on AI beyond the AI Show and Tell videos that we have in scorecards. We also have an AI ethics and policy guidance paper that's quite popular. And then our new blog type format is the TIRF Perspective series, which is an activity focused on AI with unique perspectives from different colleagues and supporters of TIRF. As for our grant award programs, TIRF has a number of opportunities. They're all closed right now, but they'll be opening towards the end of this year and early next year. The first of which I'll introduce is kind of our flagship program. It's called the Doctoral Dissertation Grants Program. These are grants for doctoral students around the world who are advanced to candidacy. We offer up to $5,000 per award. The application deadline is typically mid-May. We also have our TIRF Bailey Award program, which is designed for teachers who want to conduct research. Those awards bestow $1,000 onto the awardees and also optional mentoring services from TIRF. So if you're a teacher who's joining us today, I think this is one of the most prominent programs that we offer that can connect to so many TIRF supporters. Pay attention to TIRF's newsletter. I'll have a sign up link later in the call, and you can join if you would like. And we'll probably be announcing that in January or February of next year. The application deadline will be in early June. We also have a TIRF British Council Research Mentoring Awards program in partnership with the British Council, of course. We support early career doctoral students in targeted regions around the world. $500 per award for that program, typically 5 to 6 awardees per year, mentoring services from TIRF. And that application deadline tends to be the end of July. I did already mention some other publication activities, so just check us out. We are a nonprofit looking to serve you and other colleagues around the world. So with this introduction in place, I'm going to briefly introduce the presenters that we have here with us today. We have Anna Peterson from Seminole State College of Florida in the USA. Hi, Anna. We have Dao Xuan Phong Trang from HCM University of Education in Vietnam. Dr. Anna Burns is joining us from the University of California, Riverside in the US. and Raquel Ribeiro from the Brazilian Paralympic Committee in Brazil, and Aviri Rasipatu from the University of Birmingham, UK. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I look forward to the next hour that we have together. And Honor, over to you.
Hello, everybody. So after this wonderful introduction from Ryan, I would like to actually start our webinar. And today we will be talking about our TIRF AI Show and Tell series. As you can see, we are 5 educators located in 5 different continents. We are representing 5 continents, actually. We are such a diverse group. And we are called AI astronauts because we discover and we test out and we promote AI tools. So we are all language educators and we find some AI tools that we find actually useful to us. And later we create some videos exploring the advantages and disadvantages, the pros and cons of every AI tool that we have actually individually tested out as language teachers. If you would like to know more about some of the tools that we have been actually discovering and testing out, you can scan the QR code here, take your phones, and you're going to find some of the tools. We are going to have a short introduction of many of these tools actually that you're going to find if you scan this QR code. And if you would like to know, if you would like to get to know more about these tools, of course, you can watch these videos and they are going to be more in detail. Today, Raquel is going to introduce AI support for inclusive practices, and Anna is going to talk about connected papers and Atlas Workspace AI, and I'm going to talk about Atlas TI and Elicit, and Yiviri is going to talk about Research Rabbit and Lit Maps, and Trang is going to talk about Manus AI and TurboScribe. And now I would like to lead the scene to Raquel, and she's going to talk about AI support for inclusive practices. So welcome everybody again, and you can always write your questions in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honor, and hi everyone. So I'm Raquel Ribeiro speaking from Brazil. Let me give you a brief context on the work I have been developing in the past 4 years, giving classes and coordinating the team of teachers who give English classes to Paralympic athletes from the National Brazilian Paralympic Committee. All the students there have online live classes and all of them have a disability. Happens that around 20%, 15, 20%, sometimes 25% of the learners are blind or have low vision. And they have classes with sighted students. Along the years, I have learned a lot, but especially in the 2 last years, I have realized the importance of following guidance that has international standards and can be replicated throughout different realities, different contexts. And that's what I bring to you. Before I present simple but effective practices that are inclusive as well, I would like you to invite you to take a look at important guidance from UNESCO. So I'm starting here with the ICT, Information Communication Technology. I have this one here, but this will be available for you pretty soon. I'll be sharing that so you can have access to the full documents. So it says, advancing digital education for persons with disabilities. And of course, it goes on a broad sense. And one thing I need to tell you is that one thing that benefits, for instance, the students who are blind while having classes can also be important for a student, for example, that has difficulties, for instance, with languages, with cerebral palsy, or a student who can't move their hands, for example, or any other sort of disabilities. As teachers, it is part of our job, and as coordinators, head teachers who are, leading a group of teachers within the context of a school, to identify the specific needs of persons with disabilities and have a training so everybody is able to. Okay, this is one thing that is mentioned in the ICT document. And I would like to go on here. Yes, there is also the UNESCO AI competency framework for teachers. There's one for students too. And it goes further because it's more recent, designing and implementing. I would like to tell you that it doesn't have to be something that scares us. It needs to be something that teachers can replicate and further, even the students themselves. But of course, one thing is for sure, teachers need to be supported throughout the classes, throughout what they have to do, you know? So this is also going hand in hand with the Sustainable Development Goals, more specifically, goal number 4. I'll be posting here for you. Let me see. Yes. The first one is the ICT policy. This is going to be, yes, shared with you. So the document here in detail so you can study the competency framework and considering goal number 4, inclusive and equitable quality education to promote lifelong learning opportunities. And if we go further, each goal has a target, and we are focusing on target number 5. Just going back there with sustainable goal 4, including persons with disabilities. Having said that, just one thing that I forgot to mention, there is a QR code for you to scan. I believe this is being projected here. Is that right? There is also a link. Maybe if somebody can get the link and place in the chat, that would be great. Well, let me show the strategies that I have in mind while I'm teaching a class with diverse learners. These strategies, and now I'm going to project here one of the AI tools that I use. Very well. The first one is going to be Microsoft Copilot. You know, when it happens that there is an image, for example, let me consider this image here, okay? Or any other image that is connected to the lesson they are having. And then it is important to change any image into sound, into voice. So what I have been doing consistently is to request the artificial intelligence by using a prompt that relates to my teaching goals for that specific lesson. So for instance, here's the photo, print screen, or I just upload the file, what is possible. And I give this background, including the fact that I want the photo to be described to a person who is blind.
Raquel,
I was told,
I'm sorry. Can you maybe restart your screen sharing? We cannot see it actually right now.
oh, thank you for that. I thought it was showing. All right, let's go again. Thank you. Is it showing now?
No, it says okay. No, it's showing. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Sorry about that glitch. So this is the Microsoft Copilot. The photo that I had in mind is this one. Is the photo showing now?
Yes.
Lovely. And as I was saying, there is this prompt where I state it's a blind student. I was told that by blind people from the committee that this is important as well. Level and everything. Then we are going to have a guidance for a straight to the point description.
There are two children in the photo. They look like they're about 7 to 9 years old. They're sitting at a desk in a classroom.
I'll stop here, and it keeps going. I tried that, for example, in Gemini, because the AIs are slightly different. I use the same prompt here, and the description is slightly different. Let's listen.
Photo description. Place. The photo was taken inside a classroom. You can see school books, wooden desks, and decorations on the wall behind the children. Number of people. There are two people in the photo. Characteristics, age, and appearance.
All right.
Photo description. Place.
This
The
one,
photo was taken inside a classroom.
this one is more straight to the point. It all depends what serves us. But there is something else we can do. We can go further and give and ask for extra questions so the student who is blind can interview the sighted students and enhance their comprehension as well.
About the photo. Where are the two boys?
All right, so basically that can be done throughout the different sources of artificial intelligence. And just going back to the last slide, can you project that, Ryan, please? Thank you. The strategies are image to photo or photo to voice, chat for support, but that's sometimes not reliable at all, and a prompt that is connected with the learning goal. More details in the video coming soon, and make sure you scanned the guidance with all the clickable links. Thank you so much for your attention.
Raquel, we have a question actually. How can you save it as an audio file to share or upload for students?
That's a good question. Let me demonstrate then. Hold on. All right. So let's suppose here, do you see my screen again?
Yes.
All right. There are two ways. I can either, when they are already used to it, just share the prompt and they can paste the prompt on their own artificial intelligence that they usually have. Or if we are getting started, we click here and then, sorry, not here, but in more, in this part here, in the three buttons. Yeah, I don't know if it is projecting. There is share conversation. So it becomes a public link and I just share this link, all right? If it is difficult for students, a last resource would be recording just like an audio file on WhatsApp message if it's a person who's not very tech savvy and they would receive that. So these are the alternatives and they work throughout the platforms, you see? You can also copy the link and share.
Thank you very much, Raquel. Well, so many teachers
Thank you so much for the question too.
So many teachers are worried about lack of framework, and she introduced us UNESCO's AI competency framework for teachers. So please remember to take a look at that. And now Anna is going to talk about connected papers and Atlas Workspace AI.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anna Peterson. I am based in Florida. This is where I teach at the Seminole State College. The Seminole State College is a community college, and I work at the English Language Institute. In the English Language Institute, we work with international students. So we literally have students from all parts of the world. You name a country and we have probably had that student there. The students come for us for different reasons. The first one obviously is learning English, but many of them are already master students pursuing their master degree, sometimes a PhD, right? So doctoral students, it is a very diverse community. So my idea for this second round of our webinars was having this kind of student in mind, the one that is coming to the US and to improve their language, the English language skills, And with this, they need to find the papers, they need to find authors, they need to really get a sort of jump start into their studies and their research. So one of the AI tools that I found that seemed pretty helpful for a student in this stage in life, let's say, the one who is researching, is connected papers. Just as the name goes, connected papers literally connects you to papers, to authors, and to a multitude of possibilities given your inquiry. All you would have to do is just to enter your question in there. Like, for example, I worked with AI in language teaching, in English language teaching, in second language. And then connected papers will bring lots of authors, lots of different publications, and will give you a visual map so you know how these publications interact. I made a list of the pros of using this connected papers. Uh, for me, the highlights of this are truly finding and mapping these works. So you see together how things interconnect and how they are interrelated. The map that they give according to your search is very similar to this picture that you see on the screen. It is beautiful. Then you have the authors, you have the year of publication, you have the titles. It works obviously as a search tool, so you can find things there. You can use this map to expand your search and even for prior works. So it really goes back in the past. So I see it as a very, very useful tool for the starting level of a researcher. The downsides to it will be that just like any other AI tool nowadays, you have a limited number of attempts. So this limited number of attempts kind of grounds you a little, because when you start enjoying, it's done. So you would have to acquire the paid version. Another downside to it is that it yes, there you go. It's just that it is too much information. Really, it's a lot. Once you open the screen, you have names, authors. So it's a little impactful until you can find yourself there. But it's still a useful tool, one that I liked. You can see more information in the video that is published on TIRF's website that where I explain this tool a little more. The second tool that I have worked with, and that was my favorite if I am to compare both, is named Atlas Workspace. You will see that there are different atlases, let's say, in the field. Honor will be explaining a different one. The one that I looked into is named atlasworkspace.ai. You can see their web address there. This one is extremely complete. What do I mean by that? You can upload one work that you are investigating. You can research different kinds of publications. So it's going to bring you projects. You can see PDF files. You can see YouTube videos that are related to that topic. It's really a multitude of things, and it gives you a beautiful map how these papers or how these works interact. My number one thing in this one is that it does work with generative AI. So that means that you have a chat that seems live, like there is someone on the other side talking to you. So you can input all your queries, all your questions, all your concerns, and how you can relate your own research or your own questions to this or that paper. It obviously, just like any AI tool, summarizes content, which is a good, of course, and extremely helpful, right, tool. But obviously, as we know, not 100% reliable. There is this term that we use, which is hallucination. AI can hallucinate. So always check, double check, triple check whatever you are reading. We are not here to promote copying and pasting. We are not here to promote any sort of irresponsible investigation. The idea is really to ease the burden of a researcher, because we know it is a lot. Downsides, just like the other two and just like any other, it is paid for if you have exceeded the number of attempts or projects. So be mindful of this. One side solution that I found that I can share here is when I wanted to research more, I had more to do and my attempts were done. I created a new email for myself and then I could start a new project. The problem with this is that then you have one thing here, one thing here, one thing here, one thing there, and then in the middle of this you are lost. So it's probably easier to pay the couple bucks that you are going to be charged monthly. My highlight for Atlas Workspace is truly the chat. It is very nice, very neat, very well organized, and you can spend hours there. So I encourage you to try this tool. Take a look at the videos that are on TIRF's webinar, because then you will see a little more of the intakes that or the highlights that I could put there to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. She introduced how to create visual maps for research, making it multimodal. Now we have a question for Anna, actually. How much is the subscription and is it effective for qualitative data?
The subscription will really depend on what kind of subscription you are having. So there is one that is for institutions. So the one for institutions has multiple accesses, but they will vary in something around $12, $15, $16 per month. So obviously, if you pay yearly, you are going to have a discount. Connected Papers is a bit cheaper, so you can have it for $6 monthly, but it's not as complete, just like I said, for as much as Atlas Workspace. The second question of this is very easy. You can see on the website. Okay, I can share the links here on the chat in a minute, and then you can go on the pricing part, so you can make your choices there. But again, you can use it as a free version. Only the number of projects you can create is limited to 3 projects or maybe 5 projects. The second question I have is for quality data. Well, you have a bit of everything, especially in Atlas Workspace. You can upload different information. You can also find different sorts of papers. So I do believe that it's worth investigating. Yes, I agree. It is not bad. Thank you for the questions.
And thank you, Anna. I'm going to talk about Atlas TI and Elicit. I would like to share my screen for these tools, actually. So I hope everybody can see my screen. Is that right? Thumbs up if you can see my screen, please. All right, that's amazing. So that is going to be the interface of Atlas TI, and you need to firstly add a project for your qualitative research analysis. So Atlas TI is going to help you with your qualitative research analysis. So I would like to call my project research, and after that, I'm going to add my raw data. So this is the data that I collected from my actually participants. The nice thing about Atlas TI is that while I am using AI, it is not actually going to save the raw data from my participants, and it's not going to use it for the training purposes of AI. That's a very important feature, because sometimes you would not really want to share your raw data, participants' real answers to your questions, to and share it with these multi-billion-dollar AI companies. So I would like to work with, for example, our group interview transcript, or let's start with that. And as you can see, OpenAI will forget your data and will not save it or use it. This is one of the reasons why I would like to use Atlas TI instead of using a regular AI tool. So that's why actually I'm introducing Atlas TI, because this is a good feature. Now, Atlas TI is analyzing this group interview transcript data. And at the same time, I have created a prompt. You can always use this prompt. It took me a while actually to create this prompt because of the typical problem of hallucinations with every kind of AI tool, actually. And now I am starting a conversation with AI. Remember, this is my qualitative research assistant. That's what I call it. I am the main researcher, but Atlas TI is helping me how actually I can better my qualitative research. So I pasted this prompt and I'm waiting a little bit because I am going to ask AI to give me some codes because I'm conducting a thematic analysis here. I'm asking it to come up with some codes, and based on my raw data, Atlas TI came up with 10 codes for me. This is important though. Every time I get a code, I need to see whether this exact code is really stated by the participants or not. This data that I'm showing here is fictional data here. But because I'm always worried about the hallucination problem of every AI tool, I have to check whether this exact code for this code is really stated in this raw data. So I click on this search button, and when I click on honestly, yes, one of the participants exactly stated this. And because I'm the researcher, unfortunately, I have to do this for every code that it gives me. That is one disadvantage I would like to say. I would like to check everything. And as a next step, actually, I would like to ask it to come up with some sub-themes for my thematic analysis. And I have my second prompt here. Can you create sub-themes from these codes? And I have created some rules. Each sub-theme must contain at least 2 codes. Do not create a sub-theme for a single code. Group codes together if they reflect the same underlying attitude, concern, or practice based on my research question. Now, based on my 10 codes, Atlas TI gave me 5 sub-themes. As I said, I am the researcher. I can accept some of these codes or I may not accept it. I am going to check these codes and then I am going to understand the rationale, why AI believes that code number 3 and code number 1 could create a sub-theme. Oh, sorry. Okay.
عشان كده جامعات الصعيد نسبة الرسوب في كليات الطب فيها أعلى من 100%.
One person, excuse me, can you, okay, thanks. Yes, thank you very much. All right. Of course, you can also go along with your own questions here. You can, you're having a conversation with this AI tool, and you can watch the video to learn more about Atlas TI. The second tool that I would like to introduce is called Elicit. So all of us, I'm sure, know a little about Google Scholar. But what if you can have a conversation with Google Scholar? So for my research, this is my hypothetical research question. How do English teachers perceive the effective integration of artificial intelligence in language teaching and learning? So I'm copying and pasting my research question here. Instead of writing some keywords, now Elicit is going to give me some academic articles that actually answer this research question. So I can use this for my literature review. Now it's searching, it's giving me an analysis. Of course, I can do the same using Google Scholar, but I have to read almost every abstract or introduction or the summary. So it has given me this 1, 2, 3, 4 articles. For example, I would like to see the high school context so that I can have a conversation with the AI tool, which one of these tools are in a high school context. Now, Elicit is going to actually eliminate some of them if they are not in a high school context. One of the problems that you can see here might be actually later limited amount of data that you can use here. If you have too many questions, it's going to ask you, well, you use all your monthly tokens. But now I have the summary. Okay, in the Philippines example, we had ESL teachers, but it did not specifically talk about, I guess, their if they're high school context or not. And he's talking about here the participants are in the basic education here. So the issue is that, well, these articles are not in a high school context. So I do not need to read all these articles one by one to go to their participants section to see whether they are in a high school context or not. So I can see that, well, I have my research, but the issue is there are not enough studies conducted in a high school context. I can say, well, in these four contexts, there was the university or tertiary EFL settings, but not in a high school setting. If you would like to know more about Elicit, you can always watch the videos that we have created. And if you have any questions later, we can always talk during our discussion session. And we are continuing now with Yuviri, who is going to talk to us about Research Rabbit and Litmaps.
Thank you very much, Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Like Honor said, I'm Yuviri, and I'm a PhD candidate in the University of Birmingham here in the United Kingdom. And I will be focusing on AI tools that can help for literature review. And just like Anna mentioned earlier, one of the biggest challenges that researchers face when they are starting to explore a new research area is how to identify relevant literature. Because there are lots and lots of papers out there to read, and knowing where to start and also making sure that you do not miss important studies can be overwhelming. And thanks to some AI tools that we've explored, the process of finding relevant literature to whatever studies has become a little easier, faster, and smarter. So I'll begin with the first AI tool, Research Rabbit. Next slide, please. All right. So Research Rabbit is an AI-powered literature discovery tool, and it's one that I've been using for my research, and it's got some affordances. And the first one, and that I really love so much, is the fact that it visually connects papers through interactive citation network mapping. It does a similar thing like connected papers that Anna talked about earlier. So unlike traditional database like Scopus, Google Scholar, which simply returns a list of papers when you run a search, Research Rabbit it provides you with a list of papers, and then it also gives an interactive map that shows how papers are connected by citations, by references, by authors. And then these papers on the map, they are organized by publication date and by citation count. Now, if you look at it from the aspect of citation count, what I find very interesting is that research papers that have the highest number of citations tend to be the most influential or seminar papers in my research area. And beginning your literature search with seminar papers in your research field is something that can really be very useful as a researcher. Next slide. Next slide, please. So another key thing that I love about Research Rabbit is that it organizes your literature into collections. So you can create collections in your Research Rabbit depending on the themes or the projects. And this helps you to keep your literature well organized. You can create collections maybe around methodology, around data analysis, around your literature itself. And it makes it very easy for you as a researcher to revisit, to manage, and to expand your literature over time. And it also syncs with reference managers like Zotero. For those who use reference management tools like Zotero, my And this helps me to easily connect my literature and then cite my work without having to without having to switch between multiple tools. So moving from Research Rabbit and then going to Zotero or whatever research reference management tool you're using, all these are synchronized together. And then Research Rabbit is a powerful safeguard against AI hallucinated references. Anna already mentioned this, and to me, this is the most important aspect of this tool. One of the biggest challenges that academia is facing at the moment is AI hallucinated references. We've seen researchers include references in their studies that do not exist at all because they were fabricated by AI generative tools like ChatGPT or whatever. But the difference with Research Rabbit is that when it suggests a paper, it provides you a link to the source paper. So you can directly go there and be sure that the paper you're using exists. And that makes, solves the problem of research integrity that the AI generation is facing as far as academia is concerned. Now, some of the key considerations that you need to think about when you're using Research Rabbit is that it is not a generative AI tool. So unlike connected papers and ASTI that Atlasti that Anna talked about, which gives you summaries, or you can have an interaction with an AI agent, Research Rabbit does not provide any summaries or details about the works. The only thing it does is that it suggests relevant papers for your study and show how they are connected. And then it does not also filter retracted papers or predatory journal publications. This means that you don't have to take the suggested papers wholesale. You need to critically evaluate them and be sure that they are credible enough for your research before you use them. And then lastly, it's free to use, but it is limited. So the free version, you can have the access to the free version, but for advanced users, you need to pay a subscription, just like all the other AI tools. Then the next AI tool I would like to talk about is Lead Maps. Lead Maps works almost in the same way like Research Rabbit. So it finds relevant articles based on connections, provides visualization maps, and you use seed papers to build your map. So it shows how the papers are connected, and it is still, by citation count and year of publication, just like Research Rabbit. So I will not explain that again. And one particular feature that has been very useful to me as far as lead map is concerned is that it monitors your research through automated weekly alerts. And this is very important for people who have long-term research projects. I just started my PhD and it's going to run for the next 3 to 4 years. Now, my literature review is constantly evolving. And once I have created my lead map, now, as I am resting or busy working on other things, lead map is busy working for me. It searches, monitors the system, and alerts me whenever there are newly published papers that are relevant for my research. This is very important so that I stay updated, making sure that my literature is current, and then it can even determine the direction that my research will take because new findings can obviously shape the direction of my research. So it's a powerful tool when it comes to keeping a researcher updated in their area of research. And then lead maps equally is very collaboration friendly. You can share your lead maps with your co-authors. For example, if you're writing an article or a book with other people, you can easily share your lead maps. You can also share with your supervisor, with your friends, or with your colleagues, whoever is interested in your research, and there are so many ways that you can do this, and you can watch how this is done through the videos that have been uploaded on the TIRF website. Now, about the considerations when you use lead maps, it is worth mentioning that these AI tools should not replace the traditional database searches like Scopus, Google Scholar. They still are very important. And then the free version for lead maps gives you just 2 maps at a time. So once you've already created 2 maps, if you want to go for the third one, you would have to delete one before you get space. And for people who have long-term projects and they would want to receive notifications for newly published research, once you delete it, you won't receive the update. So you may have to pay for the premium version. So you may be wondering why I'm presenting or introducing 2 AI tools that do almost the same thing. Yes, they do the similar things, but they use different algorithms and different databases. So using different tools increases your chances of identifying relevant literature that just one tool may not be able to do for you. Thank you so very much. And I hope that you would explore these tools. And we've got the videos uploaded on the TIRF website, so you can watch our demos. And then if you have any questions, we are always here to answer. Thank you very much for your keen attention.
Thank you very much, Yuri, for introducing these AI tools for literature review. And now Trank is going to talk to us about Manus AI and TurboScribe.
Hello, everyone. This is Trang from Vietnam. You hear me well, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to introduce to you 2 tools too. So the first one I'd like to introduce to you is Manus AI. So this is an alternative to the kind of AI that you usually use for literature review and data analysis. For example, like the Elicit that my friend Anna has just introduced to you. So you can just think of this AI as as a research assistant that can support several stages of the research process. For literature review, Manus AI can help us search for relevant sources and organize information across multiple papers instead of manually going through paper after paper and trying to remember what each study says. We can use it to help us identify patterns and connections in the literature. Another useful function is synthesis. For example, if you have a collection of papers on a research topic, then we can ask the tool to help us synthesize the key findings and organize them into an overview or an evidence matrix. It can also help with data extraction. So this means that it can be useful when we need to compare studies. For example, their research questions, participants, methodology, theoretical framework, or major findings. But there is an important limitation here. You know that AI generated synthesis is not a substitute for actually reading the papers. Depending on the complexity of the task and the number of sources, the process can also take quite a long time. So you have to wait, okay? And then it might require computational resources. So I would position Manus AI as a research assistant rather than a researcher. Okay, can help us search, organize, and extract and synthesize, but we still need to check the original sources to make sure that our academic judgment is correct. Okay, now let's turn on to the next one, TurboScribe, and which is my favorite. This second tool is much more straightforward, but extremely useful, especially for qualitative researchers. If you conduct interviews, focus group discussions, observations, or other audio or video based data collection, then transcription can become one of the most time-consuming parts of the research process. So TurboScribe using AI to convert audio or video recordings into text. So instead of spending hours listening to a recording and typing everything manually, we can upload the recording and get a transcript relatively quickly. One of the main advantages is that the transcription is fast and generally quite accurate in many languages also. And there is also a free option. This can be particularly helpful when we have a large number of interviews or focus groups. However, there is one important step that we might need to remember and remind ourselves, that is to recheck the transcript. Why? Because AI transcription can make mistakes, especially when we have multiple speakers, accents, background noise, technical terminology, or L1, L2 code switching. So the transcript should always be treated as a first draft rather than a final data set. Okay, so we need to also be aware of the free daily transcription limit, 3 times per day. But for me, I think that that is enough, quite adequate for a researcher, because after we have the transcription, we have to read, recheck, and then we have to do the coding. We have to read and do the theme, for example. So it takes a lot of time. 3 per day would be enough for us. All right, so the final point is the key message. Let the AI do the first round of the transcription, but let the researcher do the final verification. So for more information or for more details, you can go to our website and then look for the videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trang. This was wonderful. So, as we have about 8 minutes, we would like to ask our guests today. So, do you have any questions that you would like to address to one of our presenters today? You can say it out loud, or you can type your questions in chat. And in the meantime, you can also talk about this actually. Are there any AI tools that you have been using for research that weren't covered by the presenters today? You can also type your answers in chat. And you can watch our videos, of course. Yes, the webinar is recorded. We're going to share the link with you soon. And one question is, what are the biggest concerns involving AI use in English language research? So yesterday we were talking about how these tools have very limited free use. So after you use your tokens or after you use the dates, for example, you can use the tool for 1 week for free. But the issue is that after 1 week, you have to start paying. So if you have funding for your research, it would be a great idea if you consider how much you're going to pay per month for these AI tools actually. So you can use your funds towards some of these AI tools. Nowadays, almost every AI tool is behind paywalls, unfortunately.
Honor, I'd also answer that question in another way. I would caution users of AI for research platforms to think about changing their settings if in case you're uploading some data perhaps that you've collected and you want to ensure the ethical part of your study to make sure that you're not revealing names of your participants or anything else that might be revealing about your context or whatever. That would be something that I think that all researchers should always pay attention to, especially as you go through a rigorous review of your research plan before it's actually being conducted. So I'd be taking a look at that. I think the payment issue is certainly something else that you'd want to look at, like Anna was mentioning, but also keeping in mind too that there are the hallucinations that have been well covered. I think that what Trang was just saying and Viri was mentioning, I think everybody had, all of the presenters today touched on that to some extent. Just AI can't do everything. We've learned that from the early days of when there was only ChatGPT or Gemini, Copilot. be thorough, check everything. You don't want to submit a paper that a reference that you didn't go back and manually cross-reference your in-body citations against your reference list. I mean, Research Rabbit might be a great tool and can catch it all, but is it going to do everything that you should be doing and checking before you finally submit a paper for publication or for a class project or whatever it is that you're working on?
I would like to add to that too, Ryan, because this is what I was thinking, the fact that we cannot rely solely on AI tools. I do believe that it is stupid not to use AI nowadays, but it is as stupid to rely solely on it. Because
Mhm.
as a researcher, we know that it is heavy, there is a lot to do. You are overwhelmed, you are tired. So AI looks like a very good way out, something that is quickly there. So you just access it. Sometimes you have a deadline, but that's not the point. The point is to help you and not to substitute you. It's not for you to copy and paste. It's not for you to trust it 100%. It is for to be a companion, to go with you side by side. Uh, I see a question here about hallucinations, right? How can one know? Checking, Linda, checking. All these tools that we have shared, I dare say that all of them will give you links to the original projects. So you would have to click on that, you would have to learn to read that and learn from it how true it is, how reliable it is, and nothing substitute a paper book. When you go to a library and you can still, of course, we have digital databases. I think Avery was talking about that. So yes, this is something to be worried about. Be careful not to put yourself into a lot, in the sense like you find so much online and then you have to check so much besides what you were already doing. So it is important really to check, double check, and triple check. This is what I would say.
And Anna, I would like to add to that. I think AI companies are beginning to listen to the complaints about the unethical use of AI. And just yesterday, Claude released some information that Claude generated material would contain invisible marks. This is from Claude. So this means that if you copy directly from Claude and you paste, and whatever, if it is a paper for a research paper or it's someone a student, your dissertation, and they use AI detection tools, there will be marks, on the material that you've copied directly from Claude and pasted, and it would be detected as AI generated. You will not see it. The AI tool would be able to detect. And I think it's very important because it would help to kind of police the unethical use of AI where people just copy material and paste. And it is because of this copy and paste that we have the issue of AI hallucination is serious, because a serious researcher would not copy a reference and its summary and include into their work if they have not read it themselves. If ChatGPT, for example, suggests a paper, you would have to go and get that paper and read at least the abstract to be sure that it is even relevant to your work. But people just get those summaries and copy them and include the references. So I think that somehow AI companies are beginning to come with solutions to the problems around AI and research.
Another thing to add is that to what Avery was just saying is that all AI tools nowadays are constantly reviewing their frameworks, and the interface and the things that you can do are changing daily. It's crazy. Every day that you enter into any AI tool that you log in, there is something new that they are adding. There is a new revision that they have just done. So every day is a new challenge. And I believe that they are really taking care of this, just like Avery said, and putting uh, um, more elements to verify quality and reliability.
I just want to respond to something else too. I saw some comments about cost and so on. TIRF. So TIRF's first big effort here was in AI and trying to explore tools that with our astronauts. Was the series of AI Show and Tell webinars, and so we've done two, and now we've got a collection of 20 different platforms that have been reviewed. Those videos are all available on TIRF's website, right in on your screen right now. That middle QR code will lead you to the part 2 playlist. I think there's another video yet to be posted, but that'll be coming out soon. But what we want to be able to do next, TIRF as an organization, is to communicate back to some of these AI companies, especially the ones focused on research. Are there opportunities for collaboration? It's beneficial to them that that TIRF is making this effort to review their tools. And of course, it helps our supporters, but there's so many more questions. So the thing I'd like to do as a kind of a closing is try to continue to stay in touch with us as we make progress in communicating with AI companies, maybe partnering with them in some way. We'll need to see where that goes. We have our AI team on TIRF's board of trustees that we're working with to try to evaluate new opportunities and try to continue to offer support. It's AI companies should also be investing in people like you who are on this call that are using their tools, thinking about scaling prices for people around the world who may be in under-resourced contexts, and also investing in organizations like TIRF who stand to help them from a research side better implement their products and make them something that's more trusted and meets ethical concerns and so on. So the best way to continue to stay in touch with us is going to be to sign up for our newsletters, that QR code on the right, of course. You can follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and we are growing a presence on Substack. That's kind of a new one for us, but Facebook and LinkedIn remain our primary social outlets, and the newsletter and our website as well. So I do want to thank everyone for joining us here today, and to all of our presenters. What interesting information. Go check out their videos. They put a lot of heart and soul into those. They're really passionate about the work that they're doing, and hats off to all of you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.